That's all right, right?
Yeah, that's all right. And then Lucifer Rising's a big hit with the kids, I'll tell you.
Is it really?
Yeah.
They love their Lucifer Rising.
Yeah, there was like probably 120 screaming girls outside of the hotel, you know, and it
You
was
want to
like,
swing that mic over so you're more comfortable? I don't want you to fall off the chair.
Yeah.
John 5 is here, as I just tweeted out, but go ahead.
So there was like 120 screaming 15-year-old girls outside of the hotel room, you know, and we're like...
For real? Are you being serious right now?
Yeah. Actually, it's hilarious.
On this current tour on
this
Mayhem?
On this current tour, so we're walking to the bus, and we're thinking, man, you know, is Lucifer Rising this big of a hit or something like that? And so we're walking to the bus, and I'll play it.
I see. That's on John's iPhone, and you can hear...
So we're walking to the bus, and all these girls are going crazy, and then we look, and they all have One Direction shirts on. And we're like, oh, man, come on.
Wait, so you were staying at the same hotel as One Direction?
Yeah.
Oh, that is too funny.
Yeah, well, you know, but they love the Rob Zombie, that's for sure. They were screaming.
You could just make that work for you. You should have a film crew. And, like, you know, you and Rob should have hung your heads out and, like, waved.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
like, you know, and let them all scream, like...
They were screaming for Rob. It was awesome. It was great.
In Rob's mind, they were screaming for him.
So the girls love Lucifer Rising.
There you go. Wow. I haven't heard screaming like that since
the last time I was here.
No, since Saturday night. I took my kids to a Victoria Justice concert. Do you know who that is?
I don't.
You shouldn't know it. She's a Disney pop, Nickelodeon pop artist.
Oh, okay.
And the band that came on after her was a band called Big Time Rush.
No.
Exactly. Unless you have kids, you have no clue. I wouldn't either. And they're like a Jonas Brothers sort of thing, right? And I know the drummer in Victoria Justice's band. He used to play with Richie Kotzen, who I played with Winery Dogs a second ago. And I got my kids the meet and greet. They're all excited. Yep. Everything was great, right? And then my kids go out to watch a little bit of this Big Time Rush show. And I decide I'm going to hang in the back and talk to the guys in the band a little bit that I know, because they wanted to see that. My wife took them out. It was all good. And then I decide to go back out into the seats when the Big Time Rush guys decide to do this bit where they walk through the crowd.
Oh, man.
John.
Oh, no.
I was enveloped by a sea of like 9-year-old screaming girls, like 10,000 of them, screaming wildly. And they do this whole lockdown where they put gates up where you can't go down certain things because the guys are going to walk through there.
Oh, my God.
It took me like 40 minutes to get back to my seat. And then by the time I got there, of course, it was time to leave.
It's funny because I have 3 children, 19-year-old, 17-year-old, and 9-year-old. And the 9-year-old...
You have a 9-year-old?
Yeah, Andreas. Now, he likes Alice Cooper, Rob Zombie, you know, Black Sabbath, all the classic horror movies, so I kind of lucked out there.
Well, I play rock music, and I certainly expose them to a great deal of that when I'm home or in the car. But there's the stuff they see on TV, and they just want to, they want to go to it. So I was the good dad. I took the bullet, and I went.
Good for you.
And did the whole thing. But
are you going to be okay?
I'll be all right.
All right, good.
I'll be all right.
Good.
There's a lot of stuff on tracks. Let's just say that at those shows.
Yeah.
Oof. I could sound good on that. Well, the funniest thing was the band that came on after. The headline band, this Big Time Rush band, they didn't even try to fake it. They just came out with 5 mic stands and didn't even have the band behind them. It's just a backdrop. They didn't even try to sell that they were actually playing.
That's amazing. And your audience right now is like, please talk about Black Sabbath.
Please go back to Lucifer Rising.
Yeah, please.
I'm sorry. I apologize to everybody listening. So, John.
Yes.
Mayhem. You're out. It started.
Yes.
How's it going?
It's going great. It's been super hot. It's been, the heat, the shows, the audience, they've been incredible. But, man, I'm telling you, I go watch these other bands, that are playing in the day, and it's like 106 degrees out, and they are just, killing it, too. And they're just, banging their head, and, like, everyone's going crazy. And I have a hard time, walking from the bus to the dressing room because it's so hot. But luckily by the time we go on, the sun's down and it's it's a little cooler. But other than that, it's been unbelievable. We had a power outage in Scranton and during Five Finger Death Punch, and so the show got a little delayed, but you know, all in all, it all worked out well, and but it's great. I hear you might be coming to a show.
I think you're playing in Jersey, right?
Yeah, we're playing PNC.
I should be able to make that one.
I think Peter Criss is coming to that one.
Is he?
Yeah, he's going to come.
That's
down.
right. You have history with Peter.
Yeah. So we're good pals and
What
so.
did you do? When did you were on one of Peter's records, right?
No. You know, it's so funny. Me and Peter.
John 5 is like the Forrest Gump of rock music.
Yeah.
You can connect John 5 to just about any band you can throw out.
Yeah, 6 degrees
What's
of
your
everyone.
Peter connection?
All right, so a long time ago, and I'll try to speed this up so your listeners can get back to some, you know,
Oh,
some music.
No, otherwise I'm going to start talking about the Big Time Rush show again. So.
Yeah, exactly. When Kiss was doing their reunion tour, it was Peter's birthday, and they were rehearsing in L.A., and, you know, we love Kiss, and we, you know all their birthdays and their real names and so on and so forth. And Peter's favorite movie was It's a Wonderful Life. And so this is like when DVDs were just coming out or something, I don't know. And so I got him this amazing box set. You know, it's just a small gift for him. And he was so taken back by that gift. You know, this was years ago, like, you know, 10,000 years ago. And he was so taken by that. He was like, oh my God, this is incredible. And ever since then, we've been so close. You know, we talk on the holidays.
How did you get it to him? Did you know him before?
Well, I've known, you know, Gene and Paul and Ace and all that stuff. And I knew, you know, it was his birthday. And I was like, oh, I'm going to come down and give Peter this movie. And, you know, it's his favorite movie from, you know, from when he was a little kid and stuff like that. So he was just, you know, he loved it so much. So for Christmas, I sent him like, you know, he loves the 50s, you know, because that's when he was a kid. So I sent him like this Daniel Boone stuff and like all this, like this Christmas card, real Christmas card from the 50s and all this stuff. So he, you know, he really enjoys that stuff.
He's the type of guy that, I mean, he's such a wear it on his heart, great guy, and such a sincere guy. And that if he likes you and you connect with him like that, like he's like your brother for life.
Yeah, he is the best. He is good people, and so I'm gonna get him down to that show. You know him.
Oh well, I'm gonna tell him and Gigi too that I'm going and we're gonna hang, and he's got to come down. Yeah,
he'll really like it. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd like to get him on stage.
He needs to get on stage again.
He needs to get on the stage, man. I mean, of course, he's a great drummer.
Yeah.
But also that voice of his is incredible. He's got such a soulful voice.
Yeah. You played. What was your? Where was your Kiss? I know you wrote a song on the Paul Stanley solo album a few years ago. Lift, was it Lift?
Where
Eagles Dare? Tread?
Yeah, Where Eagles Dare.
That's Iron Maiden, isn't it?
That's Iron Maiden.
Do you remember the song you wrote? Where Eagles Fly, Where Eagles Tread, Where Eagles...
No, Where
something Eagles something.
Something, all right, Callers.
So our callers will know.
And then anyway, I did a solo also on one of his, on another song too.
But didn't you do something with a, one of the Kiss offshoot, did you do something like with Mark St. John or something, some sort of like, one of the replacement guys... I don't remember the name of the song he wrote.
I do so much stuff like all the time, and like it'll come out, or I'll get a check or something like that. I'll be like, oh yeah,
you know, like the check comes.
Yeah, hey Ricky Martin, oh cool, you know, or something like that. Well, I mean, Slipknot.
Hey, I just talked about going to see Victoria Justice. You wrote? Right. Did you write for Ricky Martin?
I'm not saying nothing.
Come on, man.
I did on his Spanish record.
Really?
Yeah.
Music? Lyrics? What?
Yeah, me no speak of Spanish.
Oh, that's what I was wondering.
So, just music, yeah.
You wrote all the music? Or?
No, just a couple tracks.
Was the song big? Was it popular that you wrote?
I think so. I think it was actually huge. Actually.
So you would have seen some nice fat checks from that.
Yeah. And remember that Rod Stewart one I was talking about? That was #1. That's been #1 in the UK.
New Rod Stewart?
Yeah, and that's the track I wrote, and it's been huge. Mega huge.
See, this is really interesting to me, and this is, I think, what is really, I think, fascinating that people don't fully understand about some artists. People that, we talked about this off the air, you've, of course, played brilliantly so many times for us on That Metal Show.
And thank you for that. It's my favorite show.
Well, I thank you for that. And I mean, honestly, I mean, I've said this before, no one and I mean this with all respect to the many great players we've had up there, but as far as guitar players, no one has owned that gig like you have. So there's that, and I think a lot of people, you've come on a lot of people's radar because of it.
Yeah.
Because as I mentioned when we just had you on with Rob as a guest, though, both you're best known for playing with Rob as you do now, and then before that Manson, neither of which showcase lead guitar playing really.
Well, yeah, yes and no. Yes.
Every once in a while you'll have your moment.
Yeah.
But it's not that sort of platform. But what I think is so cool is all these other sides to you that people don't know about. That you've written, Rod Stewart's song. That you wrote a Ricky Martin song. To be able to be that diverse. I know you did stuff with Leonard Skinner, Scorpions, Paul Stanley. I mean, that I would imagine as a musician, that's the best of all worlds, right?
Yeah. I just and here's the God honest truth. I just wanted to be a session guy. I just wanted to be a songwriter because I hate to travel, So, and being like a quote unquote, like big rock star or something, it's weird to say, but I couldn't even dream that. It was like saying, oh, I'm going to be a billionaire when I grow up or something. It was just so far from, anything I could ever wish for. So I just wanted to be a session guy, and that's why, I learned all these different styles of music and to play, with these other artists. And then as I was doing these sessions and things like that, people said, hey, do you want to go on the road? One of the funny ones was Lita Ford. I was doing a session for her, and she goes, we really, can you come do this show? And I was like, well, no,
This is recent?
No, this was a long time ago. And she goes, we're going to open up for Kiss. And I was like, I'll be there. So it was great, but, and then, just then doing tours and tours and tours. But I'll tell you, and touring's hard, with these, it's like having a family, you're with these people. And I'm telling you, being with Rob Zombie, it is the greatest thing ever. We've never had, a bad time. It's just been incredible, and, I wouldn't change it for the world, that's for sure.
We talked when you were here last time, I don't remember when that was, a few months ago, we got into John 5, This Is Your Life.
Yeah.
We did like a 2-hour in-depth, I've got that on audio somewhere, maybe it's on YouTube like everything else that exists in the world, but we talked about that, and I think that's interesting that you started out being a musician because you wanted to be, writer and player and be one of these guys that could multitask and, play with anybody and be a behind-the-scenes guy.
Yeah.
And now you find yourself touring nonstop, first with Manson, now all these years with Zombie. And do you like it now? Do you like being out there live?
I don't take it for granted. It is the greatest thing. I am so thankful, and I can't believe it, because I'm so lucky to be doing this, and to play all these amazing places around the world, and yeah, I don't take it for granted, and I thank everybody that wants to meet me or shake my hand or something. I'll go walk out in the rain for them, because this is definitely a dream, and I'm very thankful for it.
So of all the guys, it sounds like it's safe to say, of all the people you've worked with, this is your favorite situation so far?
By far.
Being in Rob's band?
There's nobody else that comes close. It's incredible,
Very cool. John 5 is here. It's Eddie Trunk. We are live on Sirius XM 39. Trunk Nation until 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific. We have Mike Tramp coming in. Do you know, or are you a White Lion fan? Do you know
yes,
Mike?
And I saw White Lion, and you have this great history of knowledge, and
well, I have a lot of very close history with the White Lion guys, because back when they first started coming out, I was doing a radio show, and I was the first person to play them before they had a U.S. deal. So I have history. As a matter of fact, over the weekend, I tweeted out a picture of me and Vito in the studio in Burbank in '86. I think it was Amigo Studios. Michael Wagner sent it to me, who produced the record. And yes, with my very luxurious '80s hair.
You look amazing.
I wish I could go in a time machine, man.
Oh my God, no, you don't. No, but
you're being sarcastic. Amazing.
I saw White Lion with Frehley's Comet. Is that?
Sure.
Is that possible?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And I think that was, had to be like 87 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved them, of course.
Go on my Facebook, or if I get a chance, I'll retweet the picture out if you missed it, because
it's amazing.
It's
everyone.
a profile of Vito. We're listening to a playback. I think they were making the Pride record, which is the big record. I was in LA with them, just hanging out because they were friends, listening to it, giving them my thoughts on the recording. And the one comment beyond my hair, which was plentiful, is that people who saw that picture said is, "Wow, the two of you guys were baked off your asses, huh?" And the truth is, neither of us were. It's just the way the photo looks. But Vito never got like loaded or baked in any way, and I certainly never did. So it's just the kind of look of 1986. But it was a blast from the past. I appreciate Michael sending me that, and I'll tell you right now, Tramp is coming in, and I'm sure. It's endless, the people that ask me, and I'm sure ask him about Vito Bratta and what happened to him and this and that. And it's the same story, but people just can't grasp it. He just is out of the music business. He just left the business like 20 years ago. He's fine. It's just, like you just said, John, I mean, the guy was a great player, and I'm sure if he started playing again, he would be as well.
Great player.
But it's this business and the road and the rigors, if you will, of the music business. Not everybody's cut out for it for life. Everybody reaches a point where it's just like, I'm not down with that. I'm going to do a different thing in my life. Hard for people who are fans to understand, but if you're on the inside of it as you are, touring, working it out there, it's not for everybody, is it?
It is, and it is so hard for people to understand. I'll break it down really quick. It's like going into a bank and saying, "Give me the worst loan you have," and then just times that by 100, and that's what the music business is like. So that's I can understand. Some people are just like, "Hey, listen, I'm out.
Yeah. Well, that's the story, and I mean, I know Mike gets tweaked about it because he would love to do it, and Mike's the kind of guy that he'll jump in a van and go play for anybody anywhere. But it's that was his right hand guy, and without him, it's made touring and playing difficult for him, and all he's done for 20 years is answer questions to whatever happened to that guy. And I know how much it must be for Mike, because me and my history with the band, I mean, I get a question a day asking about him, and I get it. I understand people wish he was still doing stuff, but it's the simple truth is he's fine. I'm in touch with him. He's just not. But if anything ever changes, I'll let you know. But he's just, that's not where he's at in his life right now, that he wants to go and play a club and play White Lion songs.
Let's get him in here.
I've had him on the show.
Okay.
The audio's on YouTube. I had him on about 5 years ago on my other radio show.
Okay.
And they put out some compilation. He came and talked to me and explained where he was at that point. Yeah. Nothing's changed. Yeah. So, all right, John 5 is here. We should tell you that I played a song called "Welcome to Violence" from John's latest solo album, "God Told Me To." And if you want to hear him go off and wail, I would certainly suggest that. It comes with a bonus DVD as well. A great cover of Michael Jackson's "Beat It" on there. Maybe we'll play that a little bit later on. And we had Rob Zombie and the hit that's sweeping the country with the kids.
That's right, with the 15-year-old girls.
With the 15-year-olds, "Lucifer Rising." And what I'm going to play now, and Tramp should be in here soon, we'll play a few songs. The one thing that John 5 has done that we haven't touched on, there's so many things, of course, but the one thing, major thing, is Mr. David Lee Roth.
Yes. Yeah, Diamond Dave. That's right.
And the DLR band.
Yeah, that record was made in, I think it was one day.
1998. A lot of people don't even know this record exists.
Yeah.
Because it came out on their own label or something.
It's his label. Yeah. What was that?
What was that record?
Yeah, we did it in one day, and they mixed it in 2 weeks.
Get that mic right in front of you so we can hear you.
Yeah, they did it we did it in 1 day, all live. And he said, "I want to do this just like, Van Halen did it." So we just, got in a room and played, and he sang, and, and...
98 was the year.
Yeah, he said, if you can't do it in 2 takes, you can't do it.
How did you connect with Roth?
Oh my God, man, when I tell this story, it sounds like, I'm not telling the truth, but I was actually literally sitting on the couch, and if anyone that knows me, I'm such a huge Van Halen fan. and I saw his book on this bookshelf, and I said, I wonder what Dave's doing. So me, I'm credited on there as John Lowry and stuff. I didn't do anything. I was just doing sessions for like Wilson Phillips or something. So I called on the back of the book, and said, I got some songs for Dave, and would he listen to them? And it was Big Ed, Ed Anderson, who was the security for Van Halen. And he said, send them over, and I'll send them to Dave. And so I was like, hey, why not? What else do I have to lose? I'm working on Penguin's Frozen Yogurt, so I'm going to try it, So I sent these songs, and, I get this phone call from Ed Anderson. He goes, hey, Dave likes those songs. And I'm, like, blown away. And you can hear me in the background. You want gummy bears with that? And he said, send 3 more songs. And I was like, okay. So, I sent 3 more songs, and, hey, Dave wants to see you, at his house and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to David Lee Roth's house, and Dave doesn't really get out, or, you hardly see him. So I was so excited, and I get to his house, and he's like, John, how are you? Good to see you, Dave Roth. And what we're going to do here is and he started like laying out this whole schedule, and I was like, just there with my hand out still, and he's like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to record these songs, and we're going to record them live just like Van Halen did, and I got this drummer, and you can play bass, and we'll call you Bourbon Bob, and that's how we're going to do it. All right, are you in? And I was like, well, Mr. Roth, I'm playing with Rob Halford, and
because you were in 2 at the time, right?
Right, and so, he said, well, I don't want you after rehearsal, so our downbeat will be at 6 a.m. at the studio, and so that's when we're going to cut this, and so that album was cut at 6 a.m. in Burbank, and, I just held my breath and did my best.
So you're also the bass player. You're Bourbon Bob.
I'm Bourbon Bob.
I didn't know that, because it is credited. You're credited under your real name, John Lowry,
right,
on guitar. But I always wondered who Bourbon Bob was.
Right, and somebody I saw on the VHND on that Van Halen news desk, someone said it was like Michael Hartman or something like that, and I was like, oh my God, because it was just me, playing the stuff.
Why did he call you that?
Just because he wanted to have everybody in the studio playing. So it was just me, drums, and Dave. But there wasn't a bass player.
But why didn't he just say John Lowry, guitar and bass?
Because he wanted it to be like a whole band playing in one room.
Or at least look like that.
Yeah. So.
And the drummer is the great Ray Luzier, who is now in Korn.
That's right.
And he's been in, I just saw Ray recently with Korn. He's a phenomenal player.
Yeah. What a lot of people don't know is, when Dave was getting ready for his Van Halen record, he's always like, hey, John, come on over, we'll write some songs. And we wrote 12 songs, and we recorded them. And it's called Somewhere Over the Rainbow Bar and Grill. And it's really cool, it's really cool stuff. So
this is a done record.
It's a done record, yeah.
It just hasn't come out.
Yeah.
Is it an acoustic record?
But when I say acoustic, they're gonna, it's kind of like Full Bug, or
does it kick in like Full Bug though?
No, it doesn't kick in. But man, I'm telling you, it's crazy. Craig Bissonette's playing drums, and it's crazy. Bourbon Bob's playing bass.
Yeah, that guy's pretty good.
It's really cool. I mean, people, he was just warming up his voice, but we recorded it all, and it sounds really rad.
So what's that? When will that come out? Whenever there's a window in Van Halen world?
Yeah. I mean, he just did it for, warming up his voice, but he spent a lot of money in that studio to record it. We were at A&M, so. But it's really cool. It's great, because he's another guy I just stayed friends with for forever and ever and ever, and he's a great guy.
So you're still in touch with him?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, he's the guy that you being practically our house band for that metal show. You got to work your magic over there with him.
Oh man, yeah.
He would have a field day with us on our show. We'd give him the whole hour, nothing else, but just.
He would love it.
We'll have you play guitar and him just go off. He did some interviews recently up here, and I'd always done some podcasts, and in typical DLR fashion, he picked kind of, outside of the radio shows here, he picked, like podcasts and things, which, don't get me wrong, there's podcasts that are way huge, and I get that, but, you know, the things he does and doesn't do, it's just classic Roth, you know?
Right.
And I did hear him here. I know that he was here at Sirius XM, and he did the Opie and Anthony show. And he's been going on their show quite a bit, because apparently he's living in New York again, or he has a place here. At least that's what he said.
That's true.
He's living in Japan and New York.
That's true.
And he wants to be their substitute host and all this stuff that he was saying. But when he was in their studio, Jim Florentine happened to be on their show, and he met Dave, and they were talking, and I said to Jim, I go, did you say to him, you know, come on the show? And, you know, typical Jim's like, I mentioned it, you know, whatever he said. And I go, what did he say? And he just said something. He goes, he said he watches it.
Okay.
And that, you know, he just said, I'm keeping an eye on you guys for what you know, so watch what you say before I know if I'm going to come on there or something. And, you know,
but you guys praise him, you know?
Well, see, that's just it. The only, if any of us ever said anything remotely objective or something like, for instance, I don't know, I didn't like Skyscraper. You know, so maybe if I would have said I didn't like Skyscraper, you know how that works. Somebody gets a hold of that in these chat rooms or whatever, and it becomes not Eddie Trunk said he wasn't a fan of Skyscraper. It becomes Eddie Trunk said David Lee Roth should drop dead. You know, it gets magnified into something, you know, so I live with that every day, but...
I'm surprised you didn't like Skyscraper. Man, Skyscraper was great. Hot Dog in the Shade.
Nah, it was thin sounding to me, and it was like... Coming off of that first record, no way. That first album ripped.
So good.
I didn't like the sound of it. I didn't like the mix. It was thin. It was like, just like Paradise was like so poppy and just didn't like it.
I loved it.
I wasn't into it.
Let's get him on the show.
Yeah, of course. And let's discuss this. So he would completely be into having, I would think, a conversation like this. Yeah.
He is the best. I'm telling you, he is something else. So
is he here? Okay, we'll get him in 1 second. Well, and a guy who's coming in, Mike Tramp, who is a enormous Roth fan, so he'll love this conversation. But we'll get him in here in a minute. Let's play something from the DLR band for people who have not heard this. Did you ever tour for this?
No, I joined Marilyn Manson. And I said, and a real quick story. He said, John, why don't you come on over? We're going to practice our moves. Remember in Panama when I flip over Michael Anthony? We're going to practice stuff like that. And I was like, this is amazing. So, and that's when I got the call to join Marilyn Manson. And he was like very supportive. He was like, do it, you know, I think it'll be great. And he actually came to a Manson show. And, you know, and it was like...
Did he get it? Was he into it? Or?
He got it, yeah. You know who he really likes? He likes Rob Zombie. Really likes
Has
Rob.
He come to a live zombie show?
No, he's always been out and stuff, but he loves Rob. He really, like, respects Rob a lot and stuff. It's really cool.
Are you guys doing, I imagine, headlining Mayhem as you are now, and John 5 is in here with me, and he's out with Rob Zombie right now, headlining the Mayhem Festival this summer, but I've seen you guys play a couple times recently live, and the show is ridiculously incredible. Any new bells and whistles? Did it get bigger? Is it crazier?
It's so big that some of the stages we couldn't fit everything on. It's a completely different show. It is crazy. When we come on stage, you know, people are just like looking in their mouths, and it's funny to watch, to look at the crowd when we come out, because they're like, whoa, you know, because there's so much to look at. It's a massive show. If you want something to do, man, go check this show out. There's a ton of great bands on there, so we're having a blast, and everybody's super cool.
Very cool. Well, I'm going to hopefully look forward to catching it in Jersey. We were talking about David Lee Roth. Let's do a little DLR band. Then we'll segue into some other music, and then Mike Tramp will be coming in. You're going to hang, right?
Yeah.
So John's going to sit in with us, and we're going to get Tramp in here, and we'll play some music, and then we'll open the phones, and we'll just do a free-for-all for calls for anybody, whether it be John, whether it be Mike, whether it be neither of us, both of us, all of us, whatever. We'll just have some fun throughout Canada on Sirius XM 39 Trunk Nation. The show is Eddie Trunk Live for another 2 hours. The phone number is 866-315-2663. You can hit us on Twitter as well. I'm at Eddie Trunk. I know that you're John 5 guitarist, right?
Yeah.
At John 5 guitarist.
Yeah, or John 5 official. I think that's what it is. I don't know.
I think you're John 5 guitarist.
Where Eagles Dare.
It must be nice to have such an incredible catalog of songs that you've written that you don't even remember the titles of them.
I think it's John 5 Official, isn't it?
They say songwriters say all their songs are like their children, but for you, that's a bastard child, isn't it?
I got a lot of kids then.
Do you know how many songs you've written in your life?
No. I have no idea. A ton.
You make sure the check shows up for the publishing.
I got
right?
the best publisher. My best friend is my publisher, so he's great. You know, he's a monster. So he looks at every penny.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, just to let you know, your Twitter is at John5Guitarist.
I'm on, but you know what? I do the Instagram and the.
I don't do the Instagram. I don't know about the Instagram. What is that?
You got it. Let's get weird. Let's get weird with the Instagram.
What? I don't have. I'm not doing it. I'm not taking on more social media. I'm just learning Facebook. As pathetic as that is.
It's the new thing, man.
No, there's too many new things. I can't, John.
Yes, there is.
You could spend 12 hours dealing with this insanity. I do my Twitter personally. I do my trunk report on my website.
You're gonna love this, you know. And now Twitter has.
Wait, you're taking a picture of me right now, but what's the?
I'm taking video of you.
Oh, see, now, what is this? The Vine thing?
But now Instagram has video, and that's what we're doing right now.
I'm sure I look just dashing.
I will send this out to the kids. Here we go. All right. And you got to get into it. So I'm doing.
But the Instagram is an extension of. It's an add-on to Twitter, or its own thing.
I think it's its own thing. I don't know.
How is it different?
I don't know. John 5 Guitarist. I don't know. It's great. You know.
How is it different than Twitter?
The spelling.
You son of a bitch. I can't take. The other thing is I get emails every day from people. I'd like you to invite you to join LinkedIn. No. I just delete them.
I'm not into that.
I can't take more shit on.
I'm not into it.
You know, email, text, website, Twitter. I mean, I'll do what I can do, but man, you could literally spend your whole day in social media world.
I'll get you on Instagram. That's what we'll do. See, now your video is going up.
A guy like you, you're on a stage for 2 hours a day. The other 22 hours, you're looking for stuff to do.
No, I'm playing guitar. I'm picking and a grinning. All those other hours.
You practicing?
That's all I do.
Do you really?
That's all I do.
That explains why you can play like you play.
That's all I do.
All right, let's do that in Instagram.
Yeah, there we go. Just finished up. There it is, kids. Go check it out. John 5 Official Instagram. You'll see Eddie Trunk
yelling at John about social media.
Exactly.
I'm sure it's just riveting. What should we play from DLR?
Slam Dunk. It was the first song we did. 6 o'clock in the morning. I think it was exactly right when it hit 6. He was like, all right, let's do this. So
6 a.m. That's just wrong on so many levels.
It's terrible.
6 a.m. shouldn't exist. All right, so here's John 5 playing with David Lee Roth and Ray Luzier, 1998 the year. DLR band. I guess to date the last David Lee Roth solo record still, right?
I don't know.
I don't think there was one.
I think he put out another one, which I wrote on. A song called Thug Pop. Yeah, I remember that.
All right, here's Slam Dunk. If you never heard this, it does rip. Mike Tramp is going to join us. The voice of White Line will be in here. We'll get him in here in just a few, and then we're going to just talk with Mike for a while, and then we're going to take your calls, and we're going to have a whole rock and roll free-for-all here live across America and Canada. 866-315-2663. Lines are jammed. Hang out. We'll try to get to your calls in a little bit, but we want to play a few songs. And also, Tramp has a new record we'll play some stuff from as well. So stick around. Much to do in the second half of our show.